Hi everyone, welcome aboard. I'm T9 Fury. I'm a member of the BSB network, social gaming clan, and I'm here today to bring you a review for the game Space Hulk Ascension. Space Hulk Ascension is a turn-based strategy game developed and published by Full Control Studios. It's the second Space Hulk game that they've made. They've made some improvements with the game itself, and they have taken away a couple of aspects which I'll cover in a second. The game itself is based on the tabletop version of the game Space Hulk made by Games Workshop, which was produced many years ago. I was actually a big fan of the game. The game itself is, the setting is basically derelict spaceships. So if you picture the film Aliens and you're going down corridors with your space marines and trying to eliminate or complete missions within that setting. So before we go on, I'll just quickly cover the menu. Pretty standard menu with new game, continue game, load games, play tutorials, and the standard options that you would see in any game. Right, what I'll do for the purposes of this review, I shall go into a new game. Now when we go into a new game, we can select the army which we are going to use. In the Warhammer 40,000 universe, or Warhammer 40k universe, the Space Marines, or the humans, are formed into chapters or armies, and these consist of approximately 1,000 men. And the first company of each chapter is formed up around these elite Space Marines called Terminator Marines, and they wear the Terminator armour, or tactical dreadnought armour. In the game we do get a choice of 6 armies. There is only 3 when you first purchase a game, with the other 3 being able to purchase via downloadable content. For the game you get Ultramarines, Blood Angels and the Space Wolves, and in the DLC you get the Imperial Fists, the Salamanders and the Dark Angels. As the Blood Angels are my favourite, that's what I'm going to go with. We'll select the difficulty. I'm going to go for normal, and it starts loading up the campaign. So we've got a campaign map which we can select from again. Obviously I'm going to stick with my Blood Angels, with the campaign name called the Sin of Damnation, which is the name of the ship. So I'll confirm that, and it brings us to the mission map. So it gives us a little description there of the about the Sin of Damnation. I'll let you read that when you do buy the game, and I'll continue there. Gives us our objective, so our first mission there with some objectives. I'm going to cancel that for a minute, so I just want to quickly go over this screen. Right, so on here we see we have 2 squads of 5 men. We have our 2 sergeants of each squad. We have 2 heavy weapon marines, which these will be flamers initially, which I'll show you those in a bit. And each squad is then fulfilled by a further 3 marines each. Right, now before we actually go on to the mission, what I'm going to do is quickly show you the loadout screen. So on the loadout screen, again we see our 2 squads at the bottom. We've got our reinforcements we can select from. We've got the details of the selected marine. So this first sergeant here is called Sergeant Gadriel. He's rank 1 and he's got 5% experience before he gets to his next level. We can switch the marines. So if you see these little arrows, we can actually switch the marines around, and the same with the reinforcements. So what we'll do is, I do like my librarians, so we've got another sergeant, a librarian, 2 heavy weapon marines and some other marines there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to select this Sergeant Gadriel, and I'm going to switch him out with this librarian called Acheron. So there we go, and he's set in his nice little blue armour there. and we can turn it around and see what it looks like from all angles, so pretty good. Right, on the right hand side, when we select a marine, we've got his characteristics, and we can actually change these as we gain levels. And as the game progresses, we can also unlock weapons. So if we look at his loadout, he's got a storm bolter. The other two are locked until we get further, so this next one will be unlocked at level 2 and this one at level 4. And same with his power sword, we can have a power axe or a power sword with 3 different versions of each. We move on to his skills. Now his skills at the minute, he's just got a sustained fire upgrade, so that means he can move without losing his sustained fire bonus. We've got other ones as well, heat management. We've got another one there for the librarian, which will get unlocked at level 4, which I'll nab that. If we move on to the appearance, now on the librarian itself, the only thing we can do is alter his name. So I'm going to change that really boring name, and I'm going to put the really nice exciting name of T9 Fury. Done. So T9 Fury is now the librarian and the leader of the first squad. Moving on to his attributes, these will go up as we gain experience, so we'll get X amount of points to spend, and we can spend it on whichever ability we choose. For the librarian, we have psychic abilities. I'm not keen on this particular one, so I am going to choose Force Barrier, and what this does is it puts an indestructible barrier within 6 tiles that lasts for 1 turn, so it blocks any movement. Now on the regular marines, same principles apply, obviously less the psychic abilities. So for this heavy weapon marine, he's got a flamer. Again, different versions unlock as the game progresses. We can also change his power fist into a chain fist, which has got like a mini chainsaw on it. That will be unlocked at level 3. Again, we've got various skills we can choose from and unlock, and with the appearance we can not only edit the name, but we can also change the various aspects of the body and armour. And again, same with the abilities. Right, so that's your loadout screen. I will explore that briefly at the end of the mission if any of our chaps level up, but for now what I'm going to do is get straight into a mission. So as I said, it's turn based. We're going to select this first mission. Now on this particular mission it says that both squads are assigned. In some missions you are only allowed 1 squad and you have to select which one you're going to choose. And on this one, both Squad T9 Fury and Dalquiel are going to be all in the mission. So we're going to load it up. What I will do is to save you watching the whole mission, and just to save on a bit of space on file size, I'll go halfway through the mission, stop the video, and continue it once we've got down to our last few kills. So it gives us a briefing of the mission. So squads of the first company spearhead the initial assault led by their indomitable captain, boarding torpedoes, breach the Sin of Damnation's hull. The first wave of Terminators quickly advanced through sporadic Gene Stealer resistance to clear the way for oncoming troops. So the objectives: eliminate all Gene Stealers. So it comes up to into a briefing. So it gives us our 2 deployment zones here, which are by these little flashing arrows. Gives us our objectives. We've got to kill 46 Gene Stealers, and we've got to deploy Terminators in these zones, and we've got to deploy at least 1 Terminator. But we're not going to do well with 1, are we? So we're going to deploy the lot. And here, mission info, we've got to establish a control zone. So on to deployment then. Now what you can do on for the map screen, now one thing they did do from their previous version of Space Hulk, they've actually taken away the map that was at the top right hand corner here. At first I was a bit annoyed about that, but as I played the game more and more, I found it actually better and more intense. They've actually made the game screen a lot darker, and when you deploy Marines, they can actually only see the areas that are close to them, and in a minute you'll see a little circle around them which gives them like a called a perception circle, but it's like a sixth sense, if you like. So what I'll do is I'm going to select the first Marine down here. We've got our objectives in the top left. We've got our abilities for the Marine selected. So his abilities there with a weapon of choice at the bottom. It's got 20 rounds of ammo. We've got an image of the weapon which will overheat, which we'll see later. And obviously the rest of the Marines down here, and deploy our deployment button and end turn button down here. So we select the first Marine. I'm going to put him on the map, and from here you can see that we've got 4 action points which are in green, and because he's a librarian he's also got 15 psychic points to do. It's like magic type thing, if you want to think of it in layman's terms. Right, so we've got our Marine selected. Now, as we can see, it shows how far we can move, and as I mouse over it, it shows how much it's going to cost in action points to get to that square. We've also got a little radial interface at the bottom here, which shows us what abilities we can do. So we could put him in Overwatch, which is like a basically he'll sit and wait and attack anything that moves. We've got his psychic skills here, which we can select, and we've got our force barrier. If I right click and go back, and we've also got an image of how many points we've got there. So if we use Overwatch, it's going to be 2 points, and as we can see, it's used the 2 points. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him over here. There's no immediate danger, so I'm just going to use all my movement points, all my action points on moving, and I'm going to hold him there. I'm going to go on to the second Marine, which is, if we look down the left hand corner, he's got a heavy flamer, so I'm going to put him on the map. Again, no immediate danger. I'm going to move him. The third Marine I'm going to select and deploy him. Again, no immediate danger, so I'm going to put him over here. The fourth Marine, I'm going to deploy him and move him here. Now, because it's only cost me 3 points, 2 points to move to there, and now he's going to turn by clicking on that arrow there, so that's a total of 3 points. He's got 1 point left, but he's got no abilities because they all cost quite a few points. And the last Marine of that squad is going to go this way with the librarian to back him up there. Now he's got 2 points left, but again there's nothing anything he can really do, so I'm going to end their turn for that one. Now the next set of Marines I'm going to deploy over here.
Your order, sir.
The sergeant, he's going to move over to here, backed up by the heavy weapon Marine, and then the third Marine I'm going to deploy him and move him around here, and he's going to have some backup by the next Marine.
Clear a path.
I actually wasted a point now, I should have moved diagonally, but never mind. But since there's no immediate danger, no concerns, and this one will go in the way of the sergeant. So that's my first turn over and done with. Now some of the Marines have obviously got points left over, but we've got no actions. Right, so as I was saying before about this perception circle, so that's that here. Each Marine has one. You can enlarge it by upgrading their abilities in the loadout screen. And basically what this is, instead of this map that you used to have at the top right hand corner, all you can see now is most of the map is hidden, and all you'll get is like a sixth sense of where the blips or aliens are coming from. And the aliens obviously are the gene stealers. So for now we're going to end turn, Let's just zoom out a bit there. You can move the map around using WSAD, and you can use Q and A to rotate the map. So let's have a good look at some of these marines down here. So let's take a look at this marine, and let's have a, so you can see the detailing that they've put on those, so pretty cool. So we zoom out again, let's just turn it that way, and right, so that's the turn over with, and we've got no foreseeable danger at the minute. So let's proceed. So I'm going to select my librarian first. You can select them either on the map itself or using the squad icons at the bottom. It's going to move over to this door here. Notice he automatically moved that point. It does cost a point. Sorry, opened that door. It does cost 1 point to open doors, but if you click beyond it, it takes that point into account and takes it off accordingly. And we're going to get this marine in as well. Again, no foreseeable danger. What I'm trying to do is set myself up into some good strategic positions for when the gene stealers come. Right, what I'm going to do, I won't actually move up this corridor. I'm going to move this side. Let's just turn him round a bit. I've run out of points there, so I couldn't turn all the way round. I'm going to move him back. And now here's where what I set him in called Overwatch. It costs 2 action points, and you see that little eye there, so when any gene stealers come into his view, is going to start shooting at them. And I'm going to do the same for this one down here. Let's move him across there and turn him round. So he's got no points left. We'll set this one in Overwatch straight away, so same again, he'll shoot anything coming round that corner. We'll get the sergeant into this room here, and we're going to open the door. So here's where I'm going to actually open the door myself. So you see the door icon, costs 1 point and opens that door. Then I'm going to put my flamer chap over here, and I'm going to put this marine over here.
With all due haste.
So now what I'm doing is setting myself up to encounter these aliens. Now the strategy you might use, it depends on the type of player you are, I suppose. If you want to go out and get the enemy, you could explore the map yourself and just shoot them when you come across them. Or what you can do on these particular missions, because this is just a standard kill 'em all mission, so what you could do is I could set up 3 marines up here to protect that door, these 2 marines to protect that corridor, these 2 marines to protect that corridor, and these 3 marines to protect that door there. And all I have to do then is wait for the gene stealers. So could be boring, or I could take the more exciting approach and go out and hunt for them, which is what I will do. So we've moved all our marines as much as we can. We'll end turn. We've got a load of gene stealers. See the blips there? This could represent quite a number of gene stealers. So we'll just wait for them to come for now. So what I'm going to do though is I'm going to turn this bloke round. So a first click selects him. Second click gives me the turning icons. I'm going to turn him that way, and I'm going to set him in Overwatch. And we'll see these dudes do some action. This librarian's going to open this door. I'm going to set the... Right, which way shall I do it? Now one thing you've got to be careful of here. In fact, what I'll do is I won't select that one. Let me select the... One thing you do have to be careful of in this game is if you've got a marine selected, but you actually want to select another marine, just be careful that you're not making him do any little actions like I just then. You are better off selecting the actual icon at the bottom. So he's going to move up this corridor. Let's see what we've got up here. Now, as well as these corridors, if you can see that, let's see if we can get a better view of that there. You can't quite see it, but there is an air duct there, and these gene stealers can actually come down the air ducts. So you've got to be careful of things like that. And your terminators can't fit down there, so you just got to be aware of of any gene stealers coming down there. Right, so we're moving all of these chaps forward. These guys are still in Overwatch. Good thing about it is if you set them in Overwatch, you don't have to keep resetting it every turn. So that's good. Set this chap in Overwatch here. And we're going to move down the corridor here. See what we encounter. Right, so we've got a gene stealer down there. I've actually cocked that up a bit actually, because I didn't actually realise that was there. I've got no points left. My weapon's overheated, as you can see. I've only got 12 rounds of ammo left, so chances are I'm going to have a close combat when this gene stealer comes down to attack me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set this chap in Overwatch down a corridor, just in case me sergeant dies. I'm going to turn this chap round so he'll get ready to flame him if necessary, and that's all the points I'm going to do for this turn. So let's see which. Now, one thing that does annoy me, in the previous version of the game, the map actually flipped to the point of action. So if you add any action on the gene stealer's turn, it automatically moved to it. But on this one it doesn't, so you do have to keep moving around the map to see who's moving where. So we've got these gene stealers moving down here. This one, the sergeant, you actually missed that, but the sergeant gave him a nice fist and punched his lights out, so that's good stuff there. So we've got a certain amount of success so far. We're going to move the Marine back out of the way. Notice that as I moved, the weapon cooled down a bit, and I'm going to reset him in Overwatch. He's still in Overwatch. We're just going to cool down his weapon, which costs us 1 point. We're going to reload the weapon, so it's got a full mag of 20 again. And we're going to move our librarian up to this corner. Up to this door, sorry. And we're going to move this one up behind him. And we're going to move the flamer bloke up to here, but instead of going all the way, we're going to turn him to face this air duct, because we can actually, although we can't fire down there with normal weapons like the storm bolter, we can actually flame the air ducts. Right, so this one's dealt with, this one's dealt with. What I'll do is I'm going to move these two chaps up this corridor now.
Yes, my lord.
And a good thing as well, while one's moving, I can actually select other Marines as well. So let's move him up a bit further. And move him up a bit further. So as you can see, I could have just waited in these rooms, but it just make for a bit of a boring game. So what I'm going to do, let's move him forward a little bit, and I'm going to set him on Overwatch. And I've got 1 point left, so I'm going to reload his weapon. I'm going to move these chaps up behind him. So you'll notice, because this chap was already in Overwatch, it restricted my points I was allowed to use, but because he's now off of Overwatch, it's given me the 2 points back, so I'm going to just move him up a bit further. And I'm going to move the flamer bloke up there with them as well. So as you can see by this librarian, his perception circle is around here, and he's like got a sixth sense that there's something around there, so we can see him on the map. So, and it just now, because none of this is in view, I don't know whether there's a corridor going down here. It looks like there might possibly be an air duct in there, so they might be able to sneak round the back of me if I go any further. So it's quite intense. Alright, so that's the end turns. Let's end turn and let's see. Now, although the animations are a lot better than the previous version, there are still a couple of little quirky bits, like for instance, if you've got 6 gene stealers down this corridor, you'll see these guys firing and you'll see the blood splats, but the gene stealers won't actually be there. So I do think they still need to work on those animations a bit. Right, so now it's back to our turn again. So I'm going to start off with my librarian. So if I double left click on him, and it takes us straight there. Now what I want to do is, there's a lot of points up there to open that door, and it'll put me into a close combat situation with the gene stealers there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use this psychic ability called Force Barrier, and I'm going to block the movement of that gene stealer. So, and it puts up a psychic force barrier so he can't get past. I've still got my 4 points left, so I'm going to move up to the door. I'm going to open the door, which costs 1 point, and I've got 1 point left, but I can't afford to do anything, so I'm going to leave him there for a minute. Then what I'm going to do is this Terminator is going to move up to here, and it's going to provide some overwatch down this corridor. Again, I've got to be careful because we've got some gene stealers there. I'm going to put him into overwatch, so as soon as they come through this door here, he'll start shooting at them. And I'll keep this marine here to protect this air duct. Now what I'm going to do is, because all of this door is open now and I can see all the way down there, so I'm going to move one of these marines closer to the corridor. He's going to set overwatch, or shall I? Right, now Gene Stealer can move 6 squares, so if I count 1, 2, 3, it'd move to about that area there. So let's get him round the corner there. Right, now I can't set overwatch, but because he's got like a sustained fire bonus, he can actually move while shoot while moving, I should say. He's actually missed the Gene Stealer. I'm going to move this chap up closer.
Yes, my lord.
He's got so we'll turn him as well. I'm going to cool down his weapon for the last remaining point. And I'm going to move these 2 chaps up here as well. So notice I've moved on to the door space, so it automatically opens the door for me. And I'm going to go into the room. And let's move this chap up as well.
Moving out.
Move on to the sergeant. He's going to move forward to there. Notice I've still got my 2 extra points left now, so I'm going to set him in overwatch. And move this chap up behind him. And this chap up behind him as well. Right, so that's all the movement for that turn. And where we got those Gene Stealers? So we've got 1 there and a few here. Let's see what they do.
They are close.
Right, so we've got a Gene Stealer moving up there, so I need to be careful in this area. That Gene Stealer didn't actually move, did it? No, it didn't move, so he's still there. And he's still providing overwatch, so I'll get my librarian up here. Right, now I'm going to have to be a bit careful here because these Gene Stealers, so if I've got the psychic barrier, so I'm going to block that movement there. So that blocks the Gene Stealers coming there and there. Right, now what we've seen coming into view here is the Gene Stealer entry points, and this is where they actually come from. So if we can actually stand inside these circles, we could actually block the entry points. But obviously we want as many Gene Stealers to come at us as possible so we can complete the mission. So on this particular one, we won't do that. On other missions, you might have to go past entry points, in which case it's a good idea to actually block them. Right, so me flamer bloke. Now this area is pretty safe now because I've got this chap covering this area. So I'm going to move my flamer chap up to support the librarian. We're going to move him forward, so we're going to go forward 2 squares. He's shooting at this Gene Stealer down here. He's missed because he's a shit shot. I'm going to set Overwatch. Now I'm going to have to start thinking about heat and how many rounds are in the magazine as well. Move our other Terminator up. Right, now this one is where I've got to be careful. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to keep excuse me. Let's move him over here. I'm not going to be able to set him on Overwatch. This might be a bit of a tricky one. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to move him back, face that way. I'm going to set him on Overwatch, so hopefully he'll be able to shoot anything that comes through that door. Right, so we've got to be a bit careful up here as well. So we've got our sergeant. Now he's only got 5 action points, but it's going to cost me 1, 2, 3 and 4 to turn, which will leave me with no action points going to Overwatch. So I'm just going to set Overwatch now. Sorry, I've already set it out. So I've set it. He'll set his as well, and then the flamer bloke will just hang back there. Right, so let's then turn here and see what happens now. So we've got the sergeant engaged the Gene Stealer there. We've got this Gene Stealer's come down to attack these dudes here, so we've got might have a potential close combat. My librarian is going to turn round and is going to go on Overwatch down that corridor, so hopefully he'll be able to shoot stuff there. The flamer chap's going to go up and give him some backup. Alright, so we're going to turn round. This chap's going to move forward a couple of squares. Actually, let's go forward 1 more square. We're going to set Overwatch. Right, now this situation here, we can either do a close combat. So if we look down here and we look at our attacks, we could either go for a smash him with a fist, or if we cool down our weapon, we could actually try and shoot it. Now, Marines aren't very good in close combat with Gene Stealers, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to cool down his weapon, I'm going to reload it, and I'm going to go for a shot. So let's take him off of Overwatch and let's go for a shot. Now here it gives us different shots we can do. We can do a single bolter shot, a small burst, aimed shot, and suppressing fire. So what we're going to do is just do an aimed shot. Let's get rid of this dude, so it's gives us a better percentage of actually killing him. Chances are though he's going to get engaged in a minute by this Gene Stealer up here though, so we'll see what happens on the next turn. So a bit of a risky manoeuvre that. He's got no action points left, I can't cool down my weapon, and I've got no Overwatch fire. Right, what I'll do then is this chap's going to move into this position. He's going to open this door here so he can also have a shoot at well, hopefully, he might not be able to because of the shape of that corridor. So he's opened it, and I can't set Overwatch because I've used all my points up. So there's a potential for some close combats on either of these 3 Marines. This chap's going to go over to here. If he's got the points left, he'll open this door. So he'll open that, and he's going to take a step back from the door just to give him some breathing room. My sergeant's going to go up to this corridor here. There's no foreseeable danger at the minute, so we can risk it. He'll be backed up by this chap and followed up by the heavy weapon marine. Right, what I'm going to do then is I'm going to switch off the video. We'll come back in a couple of minutes because obviously watching this, the video will go on quite a long time, and I'll come back towards the end when we've got on completion of the mission. Right, so welcome back everyone. We're just nearly completing this mission now. We've just got 12 gene stealers to go. As you can see from the map, what I've done is I've actually placed my sergeant protecting this corridor with a marine on the opposite side. So we've got two bases of fire on this this corridor. The backup with the flamer there in case any of those fail. I've also got this corridor covered just in case anything comes down there by these two marines, and I've got this central corridor down here protected by these marines here, and I've got this corridor protected by my librarian. Now the librarian's seen a little bit of action. You can see there he's used up a fair bit of ammo, so we're gonna reload him so he's got a full mag. Also, these two marines over there over here have saw quite a bit of action, so we're gonna replan his ammo and replan his ammo, and we're gonna go for a gene stealer's turn. So they've massacred that gene stealer there, so there was only the one there. So what I'm going to do again is, obviously they've used some ammo and they've got a little bit of heat, so we're going to cool down the weapon, replan, cool down and replan, get them set up for the next turn. So these gene stealers don't actually stand a chance. So this chap down here, he's had quite a bit of fun as well. Now what you might end up doing, let's just cool down and replan. Now let's say if you wanted to level up particular marines, and this chap, he's obviously had loads of kills, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this chap in front. He's going to move to there, and he's going to have a go now, so that gives him a chance to gain some experience. So let's set him on Overwatch. We'll select this marine down here, and he's going to come up. Let's just get him off of Overwatch, and he's going to set up next door to him just in case the gene stealers get a little bit too close, and this one will set up there. Let's set him on Overwatch. Let's just make sure the librarian's weapon's okay. Now also another good thing is, let's say if your librarian had absolutely loads of kills, what you could do is try and detour these gene stealers and filter them down certain corridors. So what we could do is, let's look at his psychic abilities. He's got this force barrier. It costs 2 points to use, so I'm going to actually set up a force barrier there. So if any gene stealers come down here, instead of making their down here, it's blocked, so they'll make their way down the nearest corridor. So we'll see what happens there. Obviously that takes your psychic ability points down, so we've just got to be aware of that. Let's end turn there. So we've still got more action over here. So we're gonna cool down his weapon, so that's going to reload, cool down and reload. If you actually do one cooldown and one reload, the reload actually cools down the weapon as well, so you could save yourself a point there, but because I'm just standing here in Overwatch, doesn't really make much difference. So it's end turn. Let's see where these gene stealers are coming from. So we've got some more over here. Let's cool down his weapon, cool down his weapon, end turn. Well, I didn't actually see where that other one come from, but it looks like it might be down this corridor. Let's have a look. Yeah, so it was this chap here, I think. Yep, he had, so he's had a go now, so hopefully he'll get some experience points. Let's cool down his weapon. Cool down his weapon. What I want to try and do is, where's my flamer? Might be a bit risky. I won't bother. I was hoping to see, show you the flamer, see what they're capable of, but it might be risky getting past these, setting him up for a decent shot, so I won't bother. You can explore that yourself when you play the game. Well, actually, let's no, let's I will actually show you that. Let's move him back into this room. Let's move him out of the way. Also, if you see, movement also cools down the weapon as well. Hopefully this dude will sort of bash at him. Okay, so I've got 3 points left. We're going to do another shot. Well, he's a bit useless for a sergeant, isn't he? Let's set him back on Overwatch, and hopefully he'll get him on the Overwatch fire. I'm hoping this Gene Stealer doesn't come down at the back of these Marines here. So these 3 are all good to go. My Librarian. Let's do another force barrier. Do one there. And we'll end turn. Let's see what happens with this Gene Stealer over here. Right, so it's actually survived the shot, but luckily I took him out with my power fist. So we're going to have to do a recall, a reload, and that's him back up to normal. We'll set him into Overwatch, and hopefully he should take care of those there. So let's move me flamer bloke there just to get him round, and then let's move him out of the way. And it's should be able to move the flamer back up. Let's turn him round a little bit. Right, so all me Marines are good to go.
Yes, brother, moving.
Right, so I need to hurry up and get this flamer. We've only got 3 Gene Stealers left, so I want to show you this how this flamer works. It's a bit like your icon for shooting. It's similar to that. It just gives you various types of flame, you know, wide, narrow, a little bit more spread. So put another force barrier in there. And let's end the turn. Right, so nothing happened on that turn. Let's see if we've got any right, so we've got some activity down here. But what I'll do, let me turn him round. Right, so if we look at this flamer bloke, we look at his different types of flames. You've got this one here, which is a bit more of a balance. It's a bit more spread, and you can see the area that it covers. If we right click, go back in again, and we've got the narrow beam. So obviously if I did that one, I'd probably fry my own bloke there. And we've also got a shorter beam, which is good for T-junctions. Notice it starts though at 2 squares before in front of your Space Marine, so you just got to be careful of that. What I'll do is let me fry that now, so you can see where it's gone to. Not quite hit my chap, and it's gone a little bit down that corridor. And we'll end turn there. Let's see what happens with this Gene Stealer down here. So he's killed the Gene Stealer. It's ended a turn. Let's just reset his heat. Reload. Right, so here we've got a Gene Stealer coming down here. So this is where we'll have to be careful now. So let's end turn, see what happens. So Gene Stealer's come round the corner. We killed it luckily. There's another one there, so this is the last one. What I'm going to do is I'm going to try and fry it with this ability here. There we go, and I've killed that Gene Stealer, so that should be mission over with. Yep, mission over with. So we get a mission report, tells how many turns we used, how many Terminators we lost. Luckily we didn't lose any, and it gives us how many kills we got, individual kills. So old T9 Fury there, the librarian, he had quite a few. We've had one Marine level up, which is the Sergeant, which was over on that other side. He got some quite good kills there. And it'll tell us if we've used any reinforcements, which we haven't. So let's continue that. And it takes us back to the mission screen. And now it gives us a selection of missions we can do. So a squad of Terminators is tasked with locating and incinerating any means of enemy egress, and we've also got to go in for and defend against a counter attack from the Gene Stealers. We won't go into that though. What I will do is move on to the loadout screen, which we covered before, but this time we're going to work with the chap who's been promoted. He's gone up to rank 2. What I'm going to do is, I do prefer my sergeants to have a power sword rather than a power fist. Yeah, so that's him now with his power sword. And if we look here, we've actually got enough points to upgrade. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to upgrade his agility by 1 point there, and I'm going to go for an extra point on his ballistic skill, so he's more accurate when he's firing. So that's him upgraded, and that's how you do that basically for any of them. Let's just have a look and see if I've unlocked any equipment. Nothing unlocked there. Skills, I've got a few unlocks here. Terminator gains +5 hit bonus when shooting with a bolter or storm bolter. Yeah, I think we might have that, so we'll go for that skill there. Right, so that's him dealt with, and basically that's all there is to it. There are various different types of missions though, so don't just think, oh, it's a matter of going down a corridor, shoot these Gene Stealers. I mean, obviously the whole conflict is about that, but you've just got different missions. So in some missions it might be just secure and hold a position. In some you might have to go to a control room and flame it, or set an explosive off in there. You might have to recover a cyber altered task unit. You might have to go into a room and kill 2 Space Marines that have been infected. So, various different types of missions, and believe me, they do get harder than that. Yeah. Anyway, that's all for the review. I hope you enjoyed it, and go out and buy it and enjoy. Take care.